Good evening, students. We are ready with the analysis and predictions for the last slot of CAT 2021. And so there are no students who have to take the paper, and I think all of you are must be relaxed now. And so overall, the as we discussed in the first two slots, the paper was almost on the similar lines. And overall, as the pattern remained same across the three slots during the day, 66 questions, 24 in verbal, 20 in DI, and 22 in Quant, right? And overall, we have seen some deviations in the difficulty level of uh, Quant and DI. So first slot, if you see, verbal has remained by and large the same in all the three sections, all the three slots, whereas the DI was slightly difficult in first slot, whereas Quant was slightly difficult in the second slot. But what we see is, compare, I'm not saying whether easy or difficult, but compare to first two slots, Quant and DI both were reasonable or moderate in the third slot. So what we see is, when the scaling happens, the problem, the third slot people are going to get slightly lesser scaling up compared to the first two slots, because we see the third slot to be the highest number of attempts by people who have attempted the paper. Personally, I have talked to a couple of students across India, and we have been, our teams at HitBullseye have been talking to students on a regular basis, and we are bringing this analysis on the basis of feedback from these students whom we have been talking. And let me tell you, we have been fairly accurate in the predictions if you see in the past, and I'm very sure this time also we will nail and hit the bullseye this time again. And so let me give you the breakup of verbal again. Four passages of four questions each. Then we had two odd man out, we had three para jumbles, and we have three summary type questions. Summary questions were easy, people, that's what they reported. RCs were from different diverse areas, and if you see the CAT pattern, uh, uh, there were different changes. This paper we had almost two questions from two passages from around science. I'll say one was related to the robotics, and one was related to uh, the language was is how it is wired in human brains, and then one was related to psychology, which was related to the hallucinations, and one was related to time accuracy and the price we pay for the time accuracy. So overall, two RC passages were easy, and two were moderate to difficult. And so overall, what we have seen is the good students who were aspiring to get into the top schools and IIMs were able to do somewhere between 70 to 20 questions in the verbal section. And so again, everything depends upon the accuracy, because verbal, a lot of people attempt but they have poor accuracy, and usually what we see as a good accuracy in verbal is nothing less than 70%. So anything between 7 to 80 is treated good in verbal. Let us come down to the second section, which was DI. So DI was this year, even the graphs are same. The only difference is this time the graph was horizontal in the third slot. And so this easiest question was the bar diagram, four questions, and then there was a one set on a game which was javelin throw, and there were 6 rounds, 10 players. So overall this block was easy. So two easy blocks were the javelin throw, and the second one was a bar diagram. So anybody who could pick these two blocks will easily cross an attempt of 10. But however, if you are not able to select either two, so you may see a bad attempt. But overall, these two were the easy blocks, and then one block was related to a number of bottles, and they had the same quantity but they had a different impurity level. So this was again a reasoning based uh, block. So overall, two easy blocks, one moderate, one difficult. That's what overall this thing is there. And the people we have been talking to have attempted somewhere 13 to 16 is the attempt. As I told you, the key in DI always is selecting the right block rather than solving the block. and people who could pick these two blocks could easily cross their attempt by 10, 12 plus. So that's about the second section, which is DI. Third section, which was mathematics, again was on the predicted lines. We had questions as I talked in the earlier slots, that somehow number system has been not coming in that quantity and numbers and force as we have seen in the past, and same was the case with the third slot. We had definitely questions from algebra, geometry. We have a question from triangle, parallelogram, time and speed. We have question which are related to, I think, people coming and going in opposite directions, about more related to races. Then we had a question from average, time and work, profit and loss. We had one question we had from compound interest. There were questions from inequality, modulus, the one question algebra from maxima minima. So overall the math was pretty fairly spread. Anybody in math, in papers like this, the key is if you have done a lot of practice, you can solve the questions, because these questions were not very highly logical. They were moderate to difficult, but if you have done practice, you would have easily picked the right questions to solve. And we have seen a good student who is aspiring for top colleges would have done an easy attempt of 70 to 20 questions. So overall attempt of 70 to 20 in verbal, 13 to 16 in uh, your DI, and 17-20 in quant was a very good attempt. And overall we see somewhere close to a score of around 100, maybe 100, 105 will fetch you 99 percentile plus and call from the coveted IIMs. If you see the cutoffs, so to get into IIM call from the top 3 IIMs, which is A, B, C, you require usually either a 99.5% plus if you are a fresher. If you have a work-ex, then you can get call looking at profile at the lower percentiles also. And all those people, my message is that if you somehow have messed up CAT, we have other papers, SNAP, then you have ZAT to follow, and I'm very sure all of you who have not kept all the eggs in one basket and have spread your risk, so there will be paper who will be followed, and don't lose heart. And if you are done really very well, start preparing for your group discussion interview right now, because a lot of time we have seen people have very poor environmental sensitivity, maybe knowledge about economy, maybe current issues. So that is the time you start working on these things. And most important, most of the good colleges and IIMs do not spare you even from the academics at group discussion and interview level, because today interview and essay writing is what matters these days. And so start preparing for the interview and essay writing. And essay writing is again something which is tricky, because that's why I'm saying you have to need to build a lot of content. So overall that was the scene for the last slot of CAT 2021, and our complete analysis will be available on our web page related to CAT 20. Just type 3 keywords CAT 21 analysis hit bullseye, you'll be able to reach at the page. And we have been offering a lot of scholarships to students who have scored good in CAT, so always you have the chance to prepare with the leader at scholarship. That's I will say since 20 years we have been helping students cracking CAT, and this time also we wish that we will have so many selections and that 99 percentile club. Thank you very much.